rolling. It is my pleasure to transition us into our next couple of speakers. Coming up, we have a panel that I've been looking forward to for months now, and featuring folks that are near and dear to my heart, and some of the most important people in our world, and that is educators. The individuals that really take care of our young people, make sure that the individuals moving up that will be working in your organizations have the knowledge and skills that they need. And so with that, it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. David Raymond, Miss Mariah Walker, Miss Donna Woods, Miss Christy Rice, and Coach Paul Johnson, Mr. Coach Johnson, to our floor for a panel called Footsteps to Follow. And these individuals have been working so hard to prepare the question set and some of their responses. The work that they've done in their school districts, on their campuses, and throughout their communities is truly remarkable. So with that, let's go ahead and bring our panelists and David to the front, and I will pass it off. Welcome, folks. Thanks for being here today.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. We are thrilled to be here. That was a great talk by Ed Scotus. I tell you, if you listen to anybody in the cybersecurity space or the cybersecurity education space, Ed Scotus is the man. So I appreciate those remarks, Ed. So hey, my name is David Raymond. I'm the Associate Vice President for IT Security and Identity at Virginia Tech. So that's a college here in the state of Virginia. I lead the cybersecurity effort university-wide. I've got a great group of panelists with me today. I've got Donna, Christy, Mariah, and Paul, and I'm going to give them each an opportunity to introduce themselves here in a minute. Today, we're going to be discussing some practical strategies, inspiring success stories, and essential resources for launching and growing impactful K-12 cybersecurity education programs, shared by a panel of nationally recognized and really, truly nationally recognized and award-winning experts. So this is going to be a great discussion. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to dive right in. And I'm going to start with Donna first with this first question. And again, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourself as you begin your answer, and I will give everybody an opportunity to answer this first question. I'm going to be keeping track of the time, and when we have just a few minutes left, I'm going to try to do a quick round robin, just see if anybody has any remarks, want to answer any questions that I didn't get an opportunity to get to. But I'm going to start again with Donna for the first question. And so here's the question, Donna, can you share examples of events or partnerships that have helped raise awareness and build momentum for cybersecurity education in your school or community?
Oh, absolutely. Well, hey, it's exciting to be here as part of the U.S. Cyber Game Kickoffs. And community is what it's all about, being invested in the community. So we learned early on that we have to go to and find out the calendar of all of our city events and our school district events, any of their community outreach events we want to be a part of. So we get that from our mayor's office and our city council, as well as our chamber mixes, right? We want to go out, and that's how we brought a focus to what's going on at our district and what's going on with our cyber programs and our cyber teams. Most of the people in your community will not know if you even have a program at your high school until you go out and reach them. So it is all about the community. So any community event they had, we wanted to be a part of, whether it was opening AYSO, whether it was having a big event for esports, whether it was doing something at the library or a special event in the park, concerts in the park like the summer concert series, we would put up our booth just so we could have an awareness and start making connections. And that's how we really built up our advisory partners, our parent partnerships, and having students starting to come to our summer camps as well. So it was really exciting, but it's all about community and connecting with them first.
Awesome. Thanks, Donna. Mariah, I'm going to go to you next. Can you talk a little bit about partnership and raising awareness?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me here today. I'm Mariah Walker. I am the director for the AP networking course for the College Board. I'm very excited. But previously, I was the lead instructor for the Lakota Cyber Academy in Westchester, Ohio, close to Cincinnati. And like Donna said, building that community awareness and community support is huge, because you have a lot of community members that don't really know what's going on unless they have a student in the schools. And even if they do have a student in the schools, they know what's going on with their student. So it's really good to get that impactful community awareness. We would have what we called a cyber showcase, where we would recognize students for certifications or competitions that they had competed in during the year. And we would invite some of our local business people and local government representatives and have them really see the impact that the students are having. And then building that mentorship in the community, and then visiting into Pi Day and the STEM nights and things like that, so that the younger kids could see what the older kids were doing, and we could build that pipeline and then get that parent input of, oh my gosh, you guys are teaching cybersecurity in high school? I do cybersecurity. Can I come in and speak? And then you kind of get a whole cycle going.
Awesome. Thanks, Mariah. Christy, I'm going to go to you next.
Hi, my name is Christy Race. I'm a cybersecurity educator at Spotsylvania High School in Spotsylvania, Virginia. I've been teaching cybersecurity since the pathway began in 2018. Just like Ryan and Donna have said, just being involved in the community. I'm always promoting and celebrating the work of my students, throughout the community. We also created this middle school camp, Spotsy Hacks, and it is designed and taught entirely by my high school students. And it brings in the middle school students, it brings awareness to their parents because they come in as well. And it just introduces those, hands-on intro to cybersecurity skills. And it also promotes our programs. This past year, we had over 150 middle schoolers attend, and they rotated through 5 different engaging sessions. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. And Coach Paul, I'm going to wrap it up with this question with you.
Yeah, my name is Paul Johnson. I'm an engineer at Northrop Grumman. My kids call me Coach Paul. My main claim to fame is I've had 14 national champion Cyber Patriot teams, so we're doing extremely well. So I mostly coach middle school and high school students as far as community outreach. So our team is all about helping each other. That's one of the reasons we do so well. And as part of this, our culture in terms of helping, I've actually had some of the members of my team have actually formed their own separate club to reach down to elementary school students and give some demonstrations and and provide some classes that have done extremely well. I find that word of mouth between students is the best form of marketing and advertising, and that's what we really focus on.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. I'll mention another great tool for community building, and we've seen this here at Virginia Tech with the Virginia Cyber Range, and that is social media, things like LinkedIn and other social media apps. I know that Christy Rice, for example, is very active posting on social media, and and Donna and others. That's just a good way to reach out to a much broader audience, right, beyond just your geographic area. This next question, I'm going to start with Paul on this one because Paul is obviously an accomplished coach of a cybersecurity club and team. So I want to get your input on this first, Paul. What are some of the best practices for starting and sustaining a successful cybersecurity club? And also think about schools that might have sort of limited resources or limited support.
Yeah. So obviously I've started the team and I've helped a lot of other schools in San Diego start teams. So I do have some experience in this. I found that the hardest part is simply getting an adult to be the coach as a catalyst. Once the students see how much fun it is, and again, this word of mouth, they talk about how much fun it's been, they want to join. So there's no trouble getting students. It's just getting somebody to be the catalyst. And what I found is that a lot of people are a little nervous about coaching a cybersecurity team because they don't have the background. They're a little worried about that. I think part of our success is that the students completely research and teach the topics of the class. So I don't believe that coaches really need to know anything about cybersecurity. And the best way to teach the class is to have the students teach the class. So the coaches simply need to, enroll in some competitions, provide, a classroom environment, and so it's not really technical at all. And in terms of if you want to find mentors, I've actually found it fairly easy to find mentors. Um, so if you sign up for Cyber Patriot, which I encourage everybody to do, it's a fantastic competition. It's the biggest competition in the country. They have over 5,000 teams, 20,000 students each year. Once you sign up, they provide a list for you, and you go through these thousands of mentors and pick which one you want. And so it's very, very easy. If you're in other competitions and you want to mentor, so people in the field have to get these certifications, and most of the certifications require continuing education, which is really, really boring. But a lot of them, for example, like the ISC squared CISP, you can get hours from teaching cybersecurity. And I've actually I went to this one company, and a lot of the IT people there had their CISP certifications, and they actually fought amongst themselves to come out and help our class out because they all wanted these continuing education. So that's a really good source. And in terms of like getting students, there's a lot of overlap between like robotics teams and science Olympiad and math counts. I've given presentations in there when I was first starting up. And that was a really good source of students, although the robotics teachers ended up hating me for decimating their teams because everybody thought the cybersecurity was far more fun. But anyway, and I'd like to make sure that people don't get discouraged. I advertised really, really heavily my first year, did everything I could at this one high school, and I ended up with like 3 students coming to the class. But as the word spreads and people find out about it, it'll grow. And like these days, I have like 200 applicants every year. In terms of finding laptops, most large companies recycle their laptops every 3 years. And I actually found one company that was happy to donate these 3-year-old laptops, which are still in really great shape. So I found that to be a good source. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, some great tips. Christy, I'm going to go to you next. I know you have a very active cybersecurity club.
Yes. So I have found that to help my club to have strong leadership roles, to help sustain our club. We don't use the typical officer names. We have a chief hacking officer instead of a president. We have a chief threat hunter as our vice president of CTFs, and just having fun inside the club. So one of the things is once our new members compete in their first capture the flag, we knight them because we're the cyber knights. And so they are knighted and they receive their own Minecraft Cyber Knight sword, as well as their own duck. We give out ducks. So, and then just, celebrating them, promoting them, like on social media, like you said. And then also just taking them with me and providing opportunities to network with others in industries, whether it's at Nice K-12, it's at we've been to the White House a couple times. So it's just networking and getting them out there to meet and connect with people.
Excellent. Thanks, Christy. All right, Donna, I'm gonna go to you next.
Sure, real quick, in confirming what Paul and Christy have both said, it's really important letting students advocate, right, for themselves. They are the best peer mentors for one another, and really seeing them rise to the challenge, right? They love the learning and they love being able to teach others. The other important part that we have found is anytime going back to the community piece, when we're reaching out or serving the community, instead of going with an ask, what could you give our club? We go with an offer. We go to the, Seroptimist and Optimist clubs and the Chamber of Commerce, and we say, we'll have our students come teach your employees for free, right? They don't get into any personalized data, but they'll teach them basic cyber hygiene. And that's really cool. So that gives students an opportunity to facilitate, to be valued, to build up those work-based learning and leadership skills. but giving an awareness to your club as well. And then all of a sudden the IT, the parents, people come out of the woodwork, like Paul says, they're just grasping, wow, if I had this in high school, right? If I had something like this in high school. So it's a really neat connection for them to the students. And then they seem to be engaged in a long time. So it's all about advocating, and the students love advocating for themselves and just giving back. It's about paying forward.
I love that. Have the students come teach the adults how to be safe online. That's wonderful. Okay, Mariah, I'm gonna wrap this question up with you.
Again, everybody has great answers. They're all very in line with what I'm going to add. Student-led, there's so much empowerment in having students choose the challenges and the competitions that they're interested in, and having a variety of different challenges and things that they are doing. So maybe not every day we're doing password cracking. Maybe sometimes, and I know Christy does this with her kids, maybe sometimes we're opening locks, and maybe sometimes we're solving riddles, and we're just learning how to communicate effectively with our teammates and be persistent, and how to solve problems and work together. We had a lot of success. I had students placed really highly in lots of different competitions. I have some kids that are on the US Cyber team. Community support is huge, and we had a lot of success in reaching out to our local women in cyber clubs, and then also our college cyber clubs, because those students were willing to come and teach my students some of the more difficult challenges. And then my students felt incredible when they were able to solve one of those on their own.
Yeah, that's great. We've seen some of that synergy here in the state of Virginia too, between both the community colleges and the universities and the local high schools. That's awesome. Thanks for that. And Mariah, I'm going to come right back to you with this next question. I hope you could talk a little bit about how K-12 cybersecurity programs can better connect students with real world opportunities like internships, mentorships, and career pathways.
Yeah, so there are so many different ways that you can come at this, but I think one of the underlying things that all of these other people are going to talk about is building those professional skills, because it's really hard to get somebody a job if they can't talk to somebody, or if they can't write a resume, or if they can't explain the things that they actually know. So building professional skills is critical to being able to do all of those other pieces. Having mentors come in, having resume writing sessions so they get that practice, they get those reps in, talking to people that they have some sort of relationship with, because they've met them, they understand what their job is, they've talked about what they're learning in class, and it just gets a little bit more comfortable. Having significant numbers of practice shots at this is incredibly important. I know that I've taken kids to different places, different conferences, gone on field sites, and people are always impressed with how well they're able to talk about the things that they know. And it's not an accident, it's on purpose that they are able to do all of those things. Another opportunity, like Donna was saying earlier, to build those relationships with your community members is ask local companies to sponsor your cyber team and get them to see how well these kids are doing in cyber competitions. And that can really lead to a lot of doors opening. I know I had several students that just graduated this year that were posting today on LinkedIn about their internships that they have for the summer at Fifth Third and US Bank and lots of offensive cyber companies, things like that. So building the skills in your students and then getting that community support will lead to lots of doors being open for students.
Awesome. Thanks, Mariah. All right, Donna, what do you have to think about connecting students with real world opportunities?
In what Mariah said, just absolutely. One of the things we do with our senior team members and our pathway people is to make sure they're doing their LinkedIn profile. We want them to have a really good electronic portfolio of all of their achievements, their industry certifications, the competitions they've been involved in, which conferences they participated and facilitated with the educators, anything where they've presented or facilitated, be it a summer camp, mentoring the middle school or elementary students. whatever it is, we want them to have that profile along with the professional skills. It's critically important. The other aspect that we knew as educators we had to do, we worked with our state, and I'm in the state of California serving as director for our cyber pathway. We made sure we applied to be a state-approved pre-apprenticeship program that connected us to paid summer internship programs because we qualify them, and then they're vetted through our program through the competitions and their certifications. So having that LinkedIn profile and all those go right in line, and then they go from the paid internships into the paid launch college apprenticeships, which also gives them free tuition at the community college. So, this has taken 10 years to build out, but we're so glad we've done it this way, again, on the shoulders of so many other incredible people and programs like the US Cyber Games, and we see just amazing, but absolutely concur with what Mariah said.
Great, thanks, Donna. All right, Christy, how about you?
I would say being so located near Washington, D.C. has its advantages. Just like Mariah and Donna said, I take them to conferences. I take them on field trips to D.C. But I would say this past year, my students, and Mariah was there for that, even programmed their own digital business card. So, and it uses the tap to connect to technology, and it connects them with like their LinkedIn. So I'm very heavy on emphasizing professional networking with my students so that they can connect and build relationships with others.
Awesome. Coach Paul, how about you?
Yeah, so my students are pretty good at ferreting out these opportunities. There's various institutions will provide internship opportunities, and I track these, and then I compile them and then send them back out to my class each year so others can have the same opportunities. Sometimes it's a little tricky. A lot of companies, they would prefer to hire a college student for an intern as opposed to a high school student. I did have somebody at Northrop Grumman tried out one of my students and was just blown away at what they were capable of. They said that this high school student was better than a college grad that had been working there for 2 years and just got absolutely glowing reviews. The program grew. The last summer pre-COVID, there was actually 17 of my students were interning at Northrop. And I met the president of this local hospital, and he sent me to their IT person who really had no interest in a high school student. I was trying to sell her on it, and she just was not interested until I happened to mention that some of my students have actually achieved their Cisco CCNA certification. And then when she heard that, she was just completely blown away. You've got high school students with CCNAs? And I said, yeah. And so then it just completely flipped around, and she was very excited about the program. So yeah, those certifications really help.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And we may come back to certifications if we have time in a few minutes, but I want to jump into CTFs a little bit and sort of specifically talk about Capture the Flag. And I'm going to start with Christy on this question. How do you incorporate Capture the Flag competitions into your curriculum or extracurricular programs? And what skills do students gain from participating?
So I like to integrate Capture the Flag challenges throughout the school year as both the teaching and an assessment tool. In class, I'll present a CTF challenge aligned with key concepts and guide students through the collaborative problem solving to deepen the understanding of that skill. So instead of using the traditional test, I often use CTFs to evaluate their applied knowledge in a more engaging real world kind of context. So the activities like a CTF, they build critical thinking, problem solving, and teamwork skills while reinforcing cybersecurity content. So yeah, we compete a lot. So we've competed in the National Cyber League, PICO CTF, Flag Fest, and our own here in Virginia, the Commonwealth Cyber Cup, which is a statewide cybersecurity competition for high school students. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Christy. Donna, do you use CTFs in your curriculum?
Oh, constantly, like Christy does. It's a very important, I agree. It's the best assessment tool out there. Using it throughout the year, be it for the after-school competition teams and in the curriculum, is critical. It's teaching them all those viable professional skills and the team building, and also critical problem solving. For example, just during COVID, we weren't allowed to come back on our campus to do any CTF. So the students built their own network from home and coordinated it all just so they can continue competing while we were out of school. I was so impressed that they took all the tools and they said, we can still do this. They didn't want to give it up. And it's only grown instrumentally from that point. So absolutely, the CTFs are critical. They help students, they engage them, and they love seeing not only how they've done independently, but how they've helped a team and what their role was in supporting that team effort, building off of each other's strengths, and also helping one another in their weaknesses, which is absolutely, like Christy said, that's real life. That's in the real career field, what they'll be doing.
Awesome, thanks. And Mariah, how have you used CTFs?
In all those same ways that Christy and Donna mentioned, and allowing students, because there were a lot of times when I did not know the answer 100% in a CTF, and it allows students to feel ownership of their learning and their knowledge. And I saw a significant shift when I started kind of CTF-izing some content in the mindset of I just need to get this right so that I can get this grade, to I want to actually understand this so that I know what I'm doing, so that the next time we're in an NCL competition or something like that, I'm going to be able to help my team score 200 extra points. And so there was a big shift in how much they were taking ownership and pride in the things that they were learning. And then they would come in after a competition over a weekend and be like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. I had to learn something in Russian, or I had to learn some totally new coding language. And it was exciting to see their excitement.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's awesome. So Coach Paul, I'm going to twist this question a little bit for you, because I know you're much more of a Cyber Patriot person than a CTF person, but I wonder if you just talk a little bit about, like, what do the students get out of Cyber Patriot? What skills do they leave that program with?
Well, they learn a tremendous amount, obviously, about computing, and this is knowledge that they can use for any field. I mean, every job, every reasonable job involves a computer, and the more you know how to master it, the better you're going to be. And even if you don't want to go into cybersecurity, like if you want to go into law, then you can take the, a cybersecurity slant in law. If you want to go into the medical field, you can take a cybersecurity slant in that. So yeah, you can use it pretty much in any kind of field. The other thing is, with success, then my students can put this on their college apps, and they can get into all these, great universities. And I'm actually kind of amazed at how many of them get like full rides, full scholarships, full, 4-year scholarships. It helps them out quite a bit. So it really kind of launches their higher education.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks. Okay, we have about 2 minutes left, and I just want to go around the room quickly and see if you have any final comments before we close it up. And Mariah, I'm going to start with you.
I think the biggest thing, if you are new to this whole world, is 100% do not be afraid to say, I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just going to facilitate and help you figure this out. It is absolutely okay to admit that you don't know what's there, and you're just there to support them.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, Donna.
Absolutely. And find a peer buddy. Connect with someone that can, whether it's IT, another teacher on campus, it's much more fun together, and you get to bounce ideas off of each other. And you'd be surprised how many of your students have someone in IT, a parent or a relative, that'd be more than willing to come by your side to help. So absolutely.
Great. Okay, Christy.
Same thing as what they said. Find a network. You have 4 people right here to connect with, so reach out to us.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Coach Paul?
Yeah, if you're on the fence, give it a try. You'll be surprised at how easy it is. And I definitely agree with the previous comments.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. So I tell you, this has been wonderful. And I've been involved in K-12 cybersecurity education for the past few years as the director of the Virginia Cyber Range. And I'm just amazed at the level of dedication that these K-12 educators and volunteers are willing to give to these students. And it's just so meaningful. I see these students spend a few years doing cybersecurity competitions in high school, and then I see them go off to great colleges and universities in Virginia and across the country. And it's just a wonderful experience, obviously for the students, but I think also for the teachers and for the adult volunteers that are involved too. So this has been a great panel. I thank everybody for being here with us today, and I'm going to hand the floor back over to Brad.
Absolutely. And before you all run away, one massive round of applause for all of you. Absolutely phenomenal insights shared by the folks that have their finger on the pulse, that they're on the ground doing the hard work. I think a couple of things that I love the most, I was scribbling notes throughout your discussion here, and I love how infectious this landscape is. All of you with your smiles, with your passion, just really doing such important, critical work, supporting these young people as they explore their pathway into the world of cyber. And secondly, let the students shine was a big takeaway that I heard from you all today. Really just empowering them to really kind of step up, take on these roles. Christy, I love, knighting your athletes, taking folks on field trips, all kinds of things, and really encouraging them to kind of take that first step while they still have the opportunity to take advantage of all of your wonderful mentorship. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the Cyber Games program for making yourselves available today to help us kick off season 5. You all as educators, truly, what a privilege that we have to feature you all this afternoon and share all of the wonderful work you're doing on the ground with our audience. So thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day.